What's going on, guys? It's Salted Neos here, and yeah, this should have been probably the Neos deck profile with the new support, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm in a bit of a burnout right now, so kind of don't have the motivation to put anything together, and it's kind of, I don't know, I just haven't felt like looking into it more. I have an idea of something I want to do with it, but that requires a lot more playtesting and figuring out what needs to be done. So I'm actually on a bit of a break from the game right now for the most part, but I ended up attending locals yesterday, just for fun. And I played some garbage. Another GX nostalgia deck instead of, we were playing Sacred Beasts. Yeah, because this is obviously a playable deck. It actually did better than I thought it would, but we'll go into it here now in a second. So, starting us off, we have 2 copies of Raviel, Lord of Phantasms. It is honestly a bad card on its own. It needs to be summoned by using 3 Fiends as tributes. You're never going to do that because the new support lets you just summon it through other ways. And anytime your opponent normal summons, you get a Phantasm token with 1,000, 1,000. That's probably not going to last until your turn. Overall, it's a pretty bad card, not going to lie. Then we have our 2 copies of Hamon, Lord of Striking Thunder, which is also a kind of a bad card that normally needs to be summoned by getting rid of 3 face-up continuous spells. You're also never going to do that. And you're just going to be summoning off the other new guys. And if it kills something, you take 1,000, it does 1,000 damage to your opponent. You're probably never going to actually use that effect. It's just a 4K beat stick. Then we have 1 copy of the completely useless one in this deck because I don't run traps for it. 1 Uriah, which is only in here for fusion fodder. Good start, right? Yeah, you're never going to use its effects. Except maybe, I honestly forgot that it had an MST effect. I probably should have used that yesterday. Oops. And then we have our 1 copy of Raviel, Lord of Phantasm, Shimmering Scraper. I actually did summon this yesterday at one point for memes. It actually ended up helping, because it's just another 4K beat stick, and I had no Hamons or Raviels left in deck. And you can just discard it to double the attack of a Raviel. You usually just run it in case you want to search it. And then you can just add it back to your hand by tributing something. So it's not a bad card overall. Like, it's a recurable Honest for your Raviel. It's just, when you get your Sacred Beasts out, you typically tend to not have something else to search afterward, because you're trying to get the skill drain up. You don't really care about the Honest effect that much, because these guys are at 4,000 attack anyway, you know? And now we're on to the wave of support that actually made these guys playable from their structure deck. We have 3 copies of Dark Beckoning Beast. This card is ridiculous. This is like life support if they ever made life support. So when it's normal summon, you can add 1 of the Sacred Beasts, or a card that lists 1 of the Sacred Beasts in your deck to your hand. Usually the continuous spell that searches another monster. And then it's also a double summon for Fiends with 0/0 stats. It's overall ridiculous for what the Sacred Beast needed something like this. And they needed the entire support. They needed basically that entire last support wave. It's a good card. It does a lot for the deck. Then we have our 3 copies of Chaos Summoning Beast. The other one that's really, like, the other structure deck new card that shouldn't have been in the Megatins, but that's another rant for another day if I ever decide to make a video about how much I hate the 21 Megatins. But, whatever. Chaos Summoning Beast it just tributed summon 1 of those Sacred Beasts from hand. It's like a retrain of Dark Summoning Beast, which we'll get to, except it's a level 1, which is cool, and then it adds Fallen Paradise instead of another Sacred Beast. Really cool card. It fills a niche in the deck that you need. It's a combo play. It's a combo card that you need to be running. You might be able to get away with 2, but I like opening it, so running it at 3 because you can use it more than the next card. 2 Dark Summoning Beasts. You don't run this at 3 because if you open it alone, you can't do anything with it. You could say that about this guy too, but it's a level 1. You can at least make Link Karibo off of it. The 0/0 Dark Fiend that tributes to summon that Lone Fire blossoms a Sacred Beast, and then adds another one from grave to hand. It's in here at multiples because you still want to have it in there in your running desires, and it's still a really good card in the deck. Now we're on to the part of the structure deck that nobody remembers because this card is fucking terrible. Chaos Core. If it's fucking terrible, why are you running it then? I kind of thought of something that can do something with it. So basically, if either player targets it with a card or effect, or if your opponent attacks it, you can send 1 of each Sacred Beast to the grave. So basically, it just sets up your Dimension Fusion destruction. And then you place a Phantasm counter on it for each. And if you place at least 1 of them, you get no damage this turn. And then you can just protect it by getting rid of a Phantasm counter. It's good for that effect for baiting it, but you're going to try and target it yourself. Then we have our 1 Exodius, the Ultimate Forbidden Lord. It just lets you make rank 10s with the other guys. Pretty simple. That's all there really is to it. You just use it for rank 10s, and it also recycles your stuff. And then to round off the monsters, we have 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, because, you know, hand traps. On to the spell traps. Apparently I forgot a Dark Beckoning Beast. Oops. We have our 3 copies of Opening the Spirit Gates, your Searcher, that is also ridiculous. You use this in Dark Beckoning Beast to get most of your plays up and running. Not much else to say about it. Then we have 3 copies of a new card from Brothers of Legend. We have 3 Kiriria's Map, because every single one of the Sacred Beast support cards is 0/0s, and you can usually just search Dark Beckoning Beast off of this. It has to be the first thing you do in your main phase, though, and that kind of sucks, but whatever. It's still good. It's worth running it. We have our 3 Allure of Darkness, because you have enough Darks to do it. Why not? 1 Pot of Desires, because you're not running any Garnets, which I can't believe I just said that sentence. Well, I guess you're running, like, Dimension Fusion Destruction and then, like, Chaos Core, but those don't actually matter that much to your game plan. It feels weird for me to say not running Garnets, because I'm, like, infamous for running a million Garnets. But anyway, we have our 1 Call by the Grave for protection. We have our 1 Dimension Fusion Destruction, which we're going to get to. Because, yeah, Sacred Beast support and Fusion Spell. We have our 2 Fallen Paradise. You run it at 2 because it's not a bad idea to have a backup. It protects your Sacred Beast. You can also Pot of Greed every turn while you have a Sacred Beast. It's a really good card. This is before the Structure Deck support, and this is really, like, some of the best support they got at that time, like, before the Structure Deck. It was better than Dark Summoning Beast, because Dark Summoning Beast is level 5. But anyway, 2 Cerulean Skyfires. This lets you turn your Hamon into a Spell and Trap Negate, which is really cool. And that's pretty much all I can say about it, because the other effects I never fucking use. And to the spell traps, we have 2 copies of Awakening of the Sacred Beasts. Yeah, it's Skill Drain if you have 2 of them out, which you're going to be trying to. The problem is you have issues searching that last card, so you don't typically get it up as much as you'd like to, so you still need to run multiples. Not 3, because it's bricky. And, you know, if you can get if you can get a Uriah out and somehow keep it protected, having Macrocosmos is pretty cool, too. The life-gaining effect is whatever. And to run off the main deck, we have 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, because, you know, good traps. Extra deck time. We got our 1 copy of that card that they didn't put in the Megatins, despite putting all the Sacred Beast stuff in the Megatin. Okay, I'm sorry, I had to. Yeah, this card's cool. So basically, it becomes Armatile of Chaos Phantasm for stuff like, for anything that uses Armatile of Chaos Phantasm. And you can just give it to your opponent once it's on the field, and during the end phase, if you gave it to them, you banish all their cards, and then you summon one of this guy from the extra deck. Which just, you summon it in defense, then on your turn you put in an attack with 10,000 and you start beating into things. It's funny. And then we have our 1 copy of this completely terrible card that I was mostly just running because I had it, and it's a Phantasm card you can summon, and your extra deck is pretty useless. Pretty good reasons right there, I know. Then we have our 1 copy of Dreadnought Rail Cannon, because why not? You're running a rank 10 deck. You're running a bunch of level 10s. I wouldn't say you're running a rank 10 deck, but it's a cowboy. We have our 1 Super Dora, which was, you know, another good rank 10. There would be a Libe in here too, but I didn't know where my Libe was before I went to locals, so instead I was just running an Avermax that I couldn't summon. This should be a Libe. That's all I can really say about it. Don't actually run Avermax, you're never going to summon it. Then we have our Nightmares of 1 Unicorn, 1 Phoenix, 1 Cerberus. I know Cerberus isn't, like, common anymore, but there's a lot that you struggle to do with your extra deck, but at the same time, you don't use your extra deck enough either, so, like, keep it in there. It might help you get rid of your Nib tokens in Game 2 or something. 1 IP Masquerena if you want to, like, make that play with Unicorn. You're probably not going to do it, honestly. 1 Barricade Borg. A good Link 2. Basically all there is to it. We have our 1 Relinquished Anima, which is going to be used mostly with Chaos Summoning Beast. Same for Link Rebo here. Now, the last 2 extra deck monsters are part of a combo I thought up were part of what I thought was going to be a combo with Chaos Core. We have our 1 Almirage, which can target the Chaos Core by using any of your weak themes that you have to use, which is cool. And then we have our 1 Bertha Anaconda to get to the fusion spell. Because, you know, you can use Bertha Anaconda for things that aren't Fusion Destiny or Red Eyes Fusion. I know that's a shocker. Not a lot of people seem to know that, but you can do that. Side deck. We have 3 Dwayne The Rock Johnsons. I somehow hit the tripod there. Sorry. 3 Dwayne The Rock Johnsons. 3 Kaijus. My side deck is really bad, I'm not going to lie. I haven't been playing in a while. Like I said, I've been taking a break. The other thing about this deck is it loses to Ghost Ogre really bad, and I didn't realize that until I got to locals and people started Ghost Ogering Opening the Spirit Gates. But yeah, Kaijus, because I don't know what I'm expecting. Spell and Trap Removal. I'm running 5 Spell and Trap Removal cards and then a red Reboot, because apparently my locals is 99% stun right now. So yeah, that's a thing. And we have our 3 Dark Ruler No Mores, because I didn't know what people were playing. I know. Good sign, right? And we're going to round this up with a combo that I thought up with Chaos Core that can actually let you use it, which is why it was in here. So, for the combo, you're just going to need a Dark Beckoning base, really, I think. So you need a Dark Beckoning base plus 1 other card in hand that you can get rid of for the field spells, or the continuous spells effect. So you're going to normal the Dark Beckoning Beast, and you're going to use the effect to add Opening the Spirit Gates, you know, typical stuff. Activate Opening the Spirit Gates. I guess you can open either one of these, doesn't really matter which. You just need access to both. And then you use the Opening of the Spirit Gates to search Chaos Core. Now, you're going to use the extra normal summon from Dark Beckoning Beast to summon Chaos Core. And now you're going to use the Dark Beckoning Beast as link material for an Almirage. You're going to use Almirage's effect. You're going to tribute it, target the Chaos Core. When Chaos Core gets targeted, you get to send 1 of each of the Sacred Beasts to your graveyard, and that will set up the monsters in grave you need. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and now you need to get to Verte. Easy as can be. You're going to use the Opening the Spirit Gates. You're going to pitch whatever your other card was. In this case, I'm just going to say it was Chaos Summoning Beast. Bring back the Dark Beckoning Beast. Link him into Verte. And then you're just going to Verte for the Dimension Fusion Destruction, which lets you get into either one of the Armatile fusions. Which is, it's enough to have Chaos Core be considerable, I suppose. It was kind of the main reason it's in here. It lets you do something with them. There probably would be replays, but like I said, I threw this together last week for locals. I was actually going to build something else. There was a meme that one of the guys in the community had where they just randomly ran Sacred Beasts in their Karibo deck. And it turns out that you can actually make something work with that because of the Sacred Beast support, which is funny, but I don't have the Karibo support yet. If there's a profile on that, it's probably going to be a EDO Pro profile that has replays, because I don't have the Karibo support IRL. All the stuff I had from my booster box was traded to that guy who plays Karibos, because I figured he'd use it more than I would. And we found out about that meme afterward. So, I hope you enjoyed memes, because that's kind of what this channel is at this point. And, have a good night.